Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the FUEL IndyCar Series and Belle Isle here in Detroit. It's time for rounds 13 and 14 of the season. Finian, a doubleheader here tonight. 25-lap races with some fuel strategy coming up. And we got a points battle also in the works here. Byron Daly in the number 10, currently sitting on pole for this race. And let's take a look at our qualifying order right now. And of course, today's race, I guess, will be sponsored by OG Racing and Radial Tire Company, as we had a little ticker glitch here this evening. So those guys will be on board with us here tonight. But Finian, the points battle heating up here, and the season's coming to an end here in just a few weeks. Yeah, and like you're saying, the points battle is definitely heating up between Mitchell Welker and Kohan Evans. They're separated by 4 points, and if you remember, Kohan Evans' last one when he was on the last one we saw him get was on the broadcast at Pocono, and he's really done a lot with that, being only 4 points behind Welker. So with just about a minute left in qualifying, Byron Daly currently on provisional pole, Mitchell Welker in second, Zach Buchanan third, Danny Roberts fourth, Kohan Evans fifth, Tim Silliman riding around in sixth, and Brian Yakzik in the number 55, who we're riding on board with right now. He is currently P7, Evan Adams in eighth, and the rest of the field doesn't look like they're going to qualify here, Finian. Yeah, it looks like guys are electing to start from the back, and just to kind of stay out of harm's way, as this is one of the only street circuits these guys go to, for this season at least, so you know, a lot can happen in turn 1 and 2, and it's a very narrow track, so if there's a rack up ahead, it's hard to avoid. 14 turns here at Detroit Belle Isle, 101 degrees on the track, Finian. It's going to be a slippery, greasy surface, and you mentioned how narrow this place is, Finian. This is probably one of the trickiest races we're going to see all year, and we have to do it twice here tonight, two 25-lap twin races. Yeah, and that's, again, the points for each event, same points as you would get for one, so it could be a very big shakeup here if someone makes a mistake. Alright, so qualifying is complete. Byron Daly in the number 10 will sit on pole here in a moment, and not a whole lot of wind here either, but the 14 turns, it doesn't sound like a whole lot. Last night we were at Virginia National Raceway where they had 20, but I think this place tonight, we were seeing how narrow VIR was, but they didn't have concrete walls on both sides of the track. Yeah, at least if you made a mistake there, you had the grass to at least try to slow down to avoid hitting the wall, but here the walls are right next to it, and again, these were one of the worst cars, other than really the Formula 1 car, where if you pretty much hit the wall, you're pretty much done. These cars are very sensitive to damage, and any damage could really affect your car. So there's your starting order on the left-hand side of your screen. We'll roll it along the bottom as well, so you can take a look at who's starting on each row. Byron Daly, number 10, Mitchell Welker sharing that front row. 15 entries here tonight, a little bit lower than we're normally used to seeing here, so that's why the ticker looks a little bit empty, but it can be exciting here tonight. Yeah, then in third, you see Zachary Buchanan in the 40, and outside of him will be the 15 and Danny Roberts in fourth. Kohan Evans in the number 17 and Tim Silliman in the 39. They'll be making up row number 3, and they'll put Kohan Evans in the left lane, Silliman on the right. Moving back to 7th place, you got Brian Yakzik in the 55, and outside him will be Evan Adams in 8th in the 59. And Evan Adams is the last one to qualify, so starting behind Adams will be Jackson Roblar, the number 98. Had a rough outing at Talladega a couple nights ago. Josh Gallagher, the number 12, will be starting back in the 10th spot. Then moving on back to 11, we have Travis McQuistion in the 93 making a start here in IndyCar, and then in 12th will be Jared Dixon in the 60. McQuistion just won the race at Talladega on Tuesday night, so coming off of some good momentum. Johnny Martin, the number 14, will be starting 13th. Tyler Dolger in the 88 will be on the outside of row number 7. And we got a couple rows. Actually, this is our last row here. It'll be Will Roberts, the number 96, rounding out the rest of the field. Literally, I just looked at the side of my screen. Apparently, McQuistion's made 7 starts in this series. We just haven't seen him make those starts. Well, so that's why we were kind of surprised when we saw him on the grid here. Didn't realize that he has been running in the series. So nice to see him back and running in 11th. Has some work to do, though, to get to the front of the field. And again, beautiful Detroit Belle Isle here. Public streets are parked by day, and in the summer, we transform it into a road course. And Finian, there's a lot of corners around here. I forgot to download your new camera file and all that chaos. But also the curbing here, Finian, very, very tall, and you're going to want to stay off of most of them in the IndyCar. Yeah, especially because they can really launch you into the walls almost. You might not seem that way, but it definitely can happen. As the pace car is just about to go in here, we're going to get ready to go racing. And we're going racing right away. Very short pace lap here. Pace car will pull off. We're going to turn them loose for 25 laps. Fuel situation tight. They can go 24 laps on fuel. Finian, they're going to be saving or a pit stop. We'll see what strategies are unfolding here tonight. You see behind them in the rear, that's Will Roberts staying in the back as the green flag flies, and we're off here at Detroit Belle Isle. Good start by Byron Daly. He's going to get ahead of Welker, and everyone else is going to file in line. There you see Kohan Evans. So far, so good. Looks like we're going to make it clean through the first couple of corners. There's Tim Stillman, and the number 39 is going to be on the outside of the 45 of Danny Roberts, or 15 of Danny Roberts, excuse me, into turn number 3. Make our way through. And everyone's pretty neat and tidy so far here, Finian.
Everyone doing a solid job indeed. So yeah, no one out yet. And again, this is a very tough track to drive around in these Indy cars. It's just so fast. If you make one mistake, it could really affect you. But so far, so good.
That could be Canada. The number 40 is off to a pretty good start. Is that a Campbell's paint scheme he's got on that car this week? Looks like it.
I don't know how to tell.
Heading down into this corner, then that's a really tall curb there. You don't want to get yourself over and onto that. That'll certainly throw the car out of control as we make our way around. We're about halfway through the lap already, Finian, and so far the field making it through okay.
Everyone doing a fantastic job here, and this is a tricky corner here. Oh, and Roberts almost hits it. I think he's good.
Mitchell Welker got up onto the curbs. Is there some wing damage to that?
Yeah, there
76?
is to the right for wing. Yeah.
And that shows you how important it is not to get on those curbs, Finn. You know, Brian Yaksik in the wall in the number 55. Whoa, we got one hard in the fence. That's Jackson Robillard in the 98. Could be significant damage. He'll retire. And Yaksik slow as well. Let's take a look at what happened here. And Robillard enters a little bit. Oh, he got into Yaksik. Hard contact there for the 98, but Yaksik understeered into the fence. But while we're watching this replay, Finney, the battle for the lead is heated up. And Daly trying to hold off Welker, who's about a half second behind, but Zachary Buchanan is coming as well.
Yeah, and again, Welker has some damage to work with, so Buchanan's going to try to take as much advantage as he can to get around Welker while his car is damaged. Trying not to also damage his own.
170 plus miles an hour on this back straight onto the brakes. A little bit of curb there just to help the car rotate in. Tim Stillman having a good start to this race right now in 5th spot.
Yeah, the top 5 all within 2 seconds of each other, so this seems to be where one of our winners would potentially come from. They're all in a group in there. Even Cohen Evans is behind them in 6th, so closely behind.
Stillman on charge in that 39 car so far, and the slowest of the front 5, but Mitchell Welker the last time through was actually quicker than our leader, Byron Daly. And remember, Jared Dixon around Finian, as he's in the wall of death corner, as you like to put it. And this just looks like, he was already...
Yeah, I noticed he already had some left front wing damage.
And then just gets down into here, Finian, and just the car does not turn.
No, yeah, again, lack of downforce, especially with the wing bent up as much as it was, it's really going to hurt your ability to turn.
And Evan Adams has been in the fence as well. We'll have to find exactly when that was. Here we go. I believe it's the next corner here. Too hot in and just... Oh, that's a hard lick for him. So already a couple of drivers with significant damage. Travis McQuiston and Tyler Dulger also out as well. So the attrition rate high here early at Detroit Belle Isle. But the leaders still battling. Daly, Welker, Buchanan, Roberts, your top 4.
These guys have done an impressive job of staying with each other. But again, this is going to be kind of one of the things that we're going to see here. It's going to be pretty hard for these guys to pass. You can see they're all on a train right behind one another, the entire top 6, but just nowhere to pass at the moment.
Well, you talk about being a difficult place to pass, and it's so narrow. These cars do not really lend themselves to side-by-side action at narrow places like this. Makes it pretty hard.
And also, I just realized one thing. Speaking of passing, if I'm not mistaken, you guys should have push-to-pass available to them. So they got, by default, I don't know if... Admin Will Roberts has changed it, but they should have 10 push passes to use throughout the race. You get about, I think, 15 to 20 seconds of extra, I believe 50 brake horsepower to the engine, so that'll definitely help these guys pass as is intended. There you see Welker trying to go to the inside.
Took a look, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah, so...
And there's actually a stack up behind Welker here, 2nd through 4th, actually through 5th, actually. Stillman is here as well. And we're working lap number 4 already. Remember the fuel situation here. The drivers will be trying to save a little bit, otherwise you have to make a pit stop.
Buchanan's brakes were red hot. I was looking at them as he came. Yeah, they were when he came out of the first sector onto his back straightaway. Now they're cooled down.
You can't get a great look at the brake rotors from this angle, but take your word for it. Oh well, yeah.
Right there,
Are those actually that hot? That seems pretty. Was that just?
I haven't noticed anyone else besides
wow,
Buchanan.
that is.
I think it might be just Buchanan who's using up his brakes a lot more than these other guys.
So already equipment under the siege from the number 40 of Buchanan, really working that car hard, but the front 5 have broken away now. Evan Adams is on, he's off the racetrack here, Finian. He might have just pulled off just gets down here, and I think that'll be race 1 over for the 59.
And again, these guys do have a second race, so if their cars are crashed out here, they can come back for the next race in about half an hour. But here still we're seeing a battle up towards the front. And you see Buchanan make the look, no dice, and even Roberts got a little bit close to the wall. He's going to keep it safe.
And Silman just got up onto the curb on corner exit. Not a whole lot of room to play with here, so being very careful to not get into that fence. Meanwhile, Daly now has extended his lead to about a half a second over Mitchell Welker. Zachary Buchanan about a half a second behind him as well. 5 laps in, about 20% of this race under completed status here as we work our way down the back straightaway, heading towards one of my favorite corners. This is such a fun corner where you can use the curb here, Finian, but a lot of restraint for the IndyCar guys.
Yeah, you can see none of them take it. You might be able to take a little bit, but you can't mount it, otherwise you'll end up getting wing damage.
You saw Welker hit the curb here in the wall of death corner and got a little bit of right front
damage. Buchanan, wow, sliding through there. I saw him a little bit hard on the brakes, but he's going to keep it through. You see Roberts now on his back, I was going to say back bumper, but on his
rear wing.
Rear wing, yeah.
Silman was real tight off that corner and managed to keep it out of the fence, but it was an awful close moment there for the 39. Evan Ems was having internet issues, was the cause for the retirement. You see Johnny Martin in the number 14 just getting out of the way here. Not a good start for the number 14. 2 consecutive battles, Daly and Welker, and then Buchanan and Roberts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everyone's neat and tidy so far. Oh, see the dirt flying there on corner exit from Roberts and Buchanan dropping a wheel off track.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like Buchanan's already pretty much caught back up to Welker.
And Roberts has actually fallen into the clutches of Tim Silliman now. Riding on board with Silliman.
He's just about starting to. But it looks like someone's not really able to do anything with it. They see Buchanan all over the back bumper, back wing of Welker, and really trying to force the issue, but again, hard to pass.
Yeah, very close racing here for the front, but Byron Daly, and we didn't really talk about the significance of qualifying here, Finian, but obviously it matters quite a bit here. Byron Daly qualified on pole and has now led every single lap of this race so far. Hasn't had much of a challenge from Welker yet, even though the gap is close.
Yeah, part of me also wonders, too, these guys are just kind of remaining single file just to save fuel and not force the issue here. And once they're sure that they can go to the end, then they'll probably start making those passes, and especially because you still have 20 laps to go.
I'm sure that's very likely, Finian. You don't want to run yourself out of fuel. We've seen that in the virtual Mars side of things last night and last week at Sebring. So drivers being conservative with their fuel efforts here. Again, they can go 24 laps on fuel. It's a 25-lap race, so you really only need to save about a lap, which doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously these cars require every little bit of horsepower they can get to drive themselves out of these slow corners. Buchanan's front brakes are really red hot. I'm pretty surprised by that because I haven't seen that in anybody else's car.
They're molten almost.
And that's why I'm questioning if we can see. I don't think we can see from this angle how hot those brakes are getting. He's certainly cooking them. Daly continues to lead now with 19 laps to go. Mitchell Welker continues to hold on to second over Zachary Buchanan. But Welker's actually closing in just a little bit, Finian. Last time through, they were about even, but the advantage to best lap will have to go to the 10 of Byron Daly still.
Yeah, they get very close between Welker and Daly. It's only their best laps, only separated by about a tenth of a second. But actually Buchanan, though, very close to Daly's fastest lap by only 11 thousandths of a second. So you can see a lot of different guys having some pace. Even Roberts, too, put in a really fast lap.
Up battle for the lead now. Mitchell Welker might take a look to the inside of Byron Daly down here and will stay tucked in behind for now. And maybe this is a strategy move on Welker's part, not to push the issue, as you mentioned, to save a little bit of extra fuel and then maybe go for it at the end.
Yeah, especially just using a little bit of draft down these straightaways, even though they're not too terribly long. And again, any little bit can help.
Wow, Teddy Roberts almost pounded the concrete on the corner exit there, but kept it going. Again, gets real close to the wall.
And notably, Tim Silman looks like he has some left wing damage, left front wing damage.
Let's go back and take a look and see where that came from.
Might have been a while ago. We've seen him kind of fall out of the picture from this battle, as Evans, as he's been caught behind. So it might be ways back. Oh, nope, I think we found it.
All right, let's ride on board here with the number 39. A little bit of curb.
That might be up here.
Maybe on corner. Oh, wow, that was a scary moment there for the 30. Oh, right there.
It.
Yeah, and it's so hard because that wing overhangs the tires by just a little bit, and that's enough to cause some pretty significant damage if you're hanging that wing pretty close to the wall. Welker's fallen off of Byron Daly's pace a little bit that time through. Daly ran a 16.9, so not a whole lot of conservation there by the 10 that time through. Cohen Evans closing on Silman now. That damage obviously hurting the 39 car. It's actually kind of corrected itself.
Yeah, I don't know. iRacing's kind of annoying sometimes. Yeah, I noticed that on Welker too. His wing seems fine, as well as Roberts is in the wall.
Well,
no, that's
Buchanan.
not Buchanan in the wall.
Buchanan pounds the fence. Let's go take a look at exactly how that transpired. Of course, this is just typical understeer situation here at Belle Isle. It's right on board. What a shame. That was going really well for Buchanan. Down into the corner. Just way too hot. Never got it turned in and slammed the fence.
That's a tough break for that 40 car Buchanan. Again, like he said, had a good day going for him in 4th place. You know, it's going to be night over, or race over, I should say. So I'll have one more race after this.
Well, that's the advantage, Finney. Both these races count for full points here this evening. So these drivers will be doing everything they can to, and he's just never got turned down to the apex. And the tire wall sticks out there just enough to catch Buchanan. But full points available in both races. So there's a lot on the line here this evening. Welker is chased down Byron Daly once again, and I think Daly can be a little bit conservative. Last time through, he was much quicker, and he slowed down by over 1.5 seconds that next time through. Worry about fuel consumption, I presume. Welker and Roberts.
Yeah, Roberts is really on his tail now. These guys have all bunched up towards the front here between the top 3. There you see Roberts now diving to the inside.
Oh, tight on corner exit. They're going to be side by side through the next couple of corners. Can Roberts stick the nose in? No, he'll have to back out and give it back to Welker.
Welker did a great job closing him out, so Roberts is going to have to wait on that, and Welker's going to have to make up some lost ground to Daly.
Will Roberts on pit lane here. This is going to be a scheduled stop for the number 96 to get fuel. He'll be good to the end, and maybe looked at the fuel numbers and realized he wasn't going to make it, and just decided to pit.
Also, it didn't help that he's in completely open air. He can't really sit behind someone to save a little bit of extra gas, so that's not helping the situation out either.
No, but then again, if these leaders run themselves out of fuel, I could put the 96 in the catbird seat.
Yeah. And I think he realized, Will Roberts has realized that because the next car behind him was, he came in 6th and came out 6th, so the next car behind him is way far down the track, so I think he decided to pit just to be safe.
And Welker's pushing Daly here, and that's the only thing Welker can really do. If he can't get around Daly on raw pace, the only thing he can do is push the number 10 car and make him run out of fuel. The danger in doing that, you got the same amount of fuel as the 10, so a little bit of a risky strategy there.
Yeah, he has some. Welker would have, for that to work, Welker would have to make sure he's able to keep up with Daly and also be able to save fuel by short shifting. But here comes Welker. It looks like he's going to try to throw it up the inside. No, he's not.
Backs out, but to his outside comes the number 15, Roberts.
Ooh. Great
move from the outside goes Danny Roberts, and can he clear the 76? And he does.
Wow, mirror of what Welker did to him the lap before. So Danny Roberts now up 1 position.
That was an exceptional pass from Danny Roberts, and Roberts last time through ran a 1:18.0, which was a little bit quicker. Again, I really don't trust these lap times in terms of being indicative of any sort of pace just because of the fuel-saving situation. I think we'll see a better picture in race number 2 when these guys know what they have to save.
Yeah, well, looking at Cohen Evans' best lap, 16.2 to Daly's 16.9. So definitely these guys have some pace to work with.
Now, could he be just going on a one-stop strategy and be planning on pitting?
I think, I don't know. Kind of tough to tell, because he has been just sitting behind Silman, so I don't know. It's kind of...
Oh, Silman out of control.
Silman's going to have to yield that position to Cohen Evans, and he's going to go around the outside. That's going to be 4th place for Evans. Silman going to go back to 5th.
Up front, nose to tail, 1, 2, and 3, Finney, and this is a great battle.
Yeah, great battle indeed between these guys. And again, I wonder now if Roberts is going to actually try to go for it.
I mean, I don't see why not. He obviously forced the issue a little bit with Mitchell Welker, but maybe that was just to put himself in a better position for later in the race.
He's going to go for it. Roberts up the inside.
Oh, he's going to complete it. A little bit of wheel contact there, but gets the job done. Put Danny Roberts in the 15 to the lead. A strong move down the inside.
2 fantastic overtakes from the 15 of Roberts lap after lap. So hit that Ferrari back up to P1.
Cohen Evans creeping into the picture here as well.
And he's going to be the underdog again. And this is not what Welker wanted to see. Welker was up in 2nd, and Evans was down in 6th. But the way fate has decided it, Welker's in 3rd, and Evans slowly behind in 4th. So Evans keeping this points battle for the championship really close.
Tim Stillman has come down pit lane and has conceded the fuel-saving effort in the 39, so that might be indicative. We might see some more cars on pit lane here shortly, Finney, and I don't think these guys are saving as much as they were hoping they could.
Yeah. So, and especially for the leaders, too. I mean, Daly was led 10 laps there, and he wasn't really behind anyone. Again, not that being in the draft would save too much, but again, a little bit's help here and there. So, kind of curious, yeah, if these leaders are able to be able to stay out there for the whole race, or if they're going to have to make that pit stop.
Well, the only guys that have made pit stops so far are Tim Stillman, Will Roberts, and Johnny Martin. And everyone else has yet to come, and it's still up in the air whether or not they need to. And I think it's possible to get there, Finian, but these guys are lapping so quick. Danny Roberts just laid down a 16.8, so he might also be committing to a one-stop strategy. He's pushing the pace here very, very hard.
And Daly also pretty slow by comparison.
Yeah.
And Daly was our pole sitter, if I'm not mistaken. So
I gotta think that Danny Roberts just is giving up on the fuel-saving effort, and everyone else behind him is just still trying to make it work. So if Roberts is correct about this and that no one can make it, he's going to be in a great position once they all pit.
You see Walker looking to the outside, or inside actually, I should say, as they head towards, not sure what turn number this is,
yeah.
But he's going to sit behind on it and wait.
Tight off the corner for Daly. Walker followed him through. Will Roberts spun out here on course. Get a quick look at it. Was there contact? No, maybe not. Yeah, all by himself here. This is probably the trickiest corner on the racetrack. Yeah. He got in a little bit hot and got on the brakes. A little bit of fence damage. You see Johnny Martin jump on the binders there to avoid the number 96, but it was a good job getting it pointed back in the right direction, but very easy to make that mistake there.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the more trickier corners around this track, although there are a lot of tricky corners.
I would say I'd rather spin out than have the experience that Jackson Robillard did earlier in this race. Daly and Welker, nose to tail. Danny Roberts continues to stretch his lead, ran a 16.5 again. That was his best lap time, so I'm pretty much convinced now that he's just going for it, and he'll have to come down pit lane. Byron Daly Welker committing to the zero-stop strategy. The question is that even going to be possible? And I wish we could see their fuel numbers, but we can't, so we'll have to wait and see. Have these guys been using push to pass, too? That'll conserve some extra fuel.
Yeah, I've noticed that none of them have used it, and again, I think they're probably waiting for, if anything, using it at the end and using as few as possible, because you are going to use up more fuel by using that. So
extra horsepower comes at a price.
Yeah, so these guys still falling in order behind each other, and again, we have no clue what's going through these drivers' heads. Only they know how much fuel they have.
They can only guess by their driving characteristics, and I have to say, what Roberts is laying down mid-16s. That time was a 17.0.
And Roberts has come in.
Yeah, so Danny Roberts is, again, we said he was going to commit to that strategy. It looks like he has, and I expect everyone else to probably be on the strategy as well. You see Daly Welker pick up a significant amount of pace that time. Both drivers ran their fastest lap last time through, so I think everyone's given up on the zero-stop strategy. We're going for a one-stopper now. So we'll see if Will Roberts can pick up any spots. He committed to that a little bit sooner than everyone else did. And that's going to open up the battle for the lead here shortly, Finney. Now that we're committed to the one-stopper, Daly and Welker can battle, but that's brought Cohen Evans into the mix, too.
I'm interested, too, if Roberts is able to extend his lead, as he's in completely clean air now to work with. So he won't have to be stuck behind these guys, although he was the leader to begin with. So just kind of interested in seeing if he's able to expand that lead.
Well, Danny Roberts popped out in front of Tim Stillman and Will Roberts, so he'll maintain his spots. Came down for a 7.3-second stop to add fuel on board. We'll see if anybody else tries to go a little bit longer than maybe short pit a little bit, or not short pit, but take on a little bit less fuel and maybe try to jump the 15, because he's going to be running some pretty quick lap times, you got to know. So I don't think you can afford to just come in and do exactly what he did, because he's going to be making up a lot more time than you are right now. And you mentioned the clean air. That's certainly going to help him. Wow, Welker was in the dirt there. Got the right sides up over the top of the curb.
Yeah, that's how close the line he was trying to run. And there you see Evans has fallen behind these guys by about a second now. These drivers are picking up the pace.
Everyone else pretty standard run so far through the field. 10 laps to go now, and it looks like Byron Daly and Danny Roberts are going to have to be the ones to beat, but I think Roberts is in a much better position, came in leading by over a second, so he'll have a pretty good cushion when the rest of the field comes down pit lane. And if you're Mitchell Welker, do you want to try an undercut here just to try to jump the 10 of Byron Daly?
I would, honestly. Because you're stuck in behind him in that dirty air, you can come in, get some fresh tires, and use your push to pass to try to get an advantage in the cleaner air. Utilize that to an advantage. So I think that's what he should try to do, but again, it's up to the drivers for these decisions. And notably, too, looks like Roberts has been closing in a little bit here and there on his gap behind these guys. Made some small inroads.
Well, I have to see. This is still technically part of his out lap here. So we'll see when he comes back across the line what his lap time is. But meanwhile, Daly and Welker nose to tail. I'm surprised Welker hasn't jumped into the pits yet, Finian. I think he's got to do something to get around that number 10 car. I would have thought he would have come in this time through just to try to snooker the 10.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as well with this.
And Cohen Evans can pull the same strategy as well. So I'm kind of surprised these guys are just following Daly, knowing Roberts is out there making really quick laps. And guess what he just did, Finney? Ran a 1:15.633, the fastest lap time we've seen by over a second here. So he's already probably gained about a second on his lead that he had earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious what these guys are up to, if they're saving or not. It doesn't seem entirely like they are.
Oh, they're still running off the pace by about 5 to 6 tenths of a second, but that's normal, race pace drop off there. So I have to think that they're committed now, Finian. But if they are doing the no stop strategy, they've really just screwed Danny Roberts. So you can't make up 20 seconds.
Yeah. So again, just kind of curious of what's going through. Again, would love to be listening to any radio chatter from them to see what they've decided on doing. And we'll see again as they come around the pit road entry. Off to the right, and still none of them come down. So I gotta imagine at this point these guys are committed to it.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty dang close though. But if you thought if it was that close, you'd see more people try to stretch it. But the front three would be the only ones to try the strategy. I'm not convinced that it's even really close to being realistic. Tim Silliman off the racetrack here and spun out.
And his race has gone from bad to worse. Although he is running in 5th, though, I mean, he's probably not going to be happy with his performance.
Maybe gets up onto the curb. Nope, just gets loose and then drags the left front along that wall. That's certainly not going to help the aerodynamics of that 39 car. All right, last time through, Daly and Welker ran identical lap times down to the 1,000th, and we got a pass for the lead. Byron Daly on the outside, can't get it done. Will he give a spot to Cohen Evans? No, he'll tuck back in line. There's an attempt to get by. We're racing each other pretty hard to be saving fuel, though, Finian.
Yeah, I'm still trying to struggle. It's hard to tell. It almost seems like sometimes they are saving fuel, and sometimes they aren't. So, I don't know.
I don't think they're saving enough, but I mean, with Danny Roberts running 1:15.9s, he's making up a ton of ground. So if they are committed to that one-stopper strategy, they're totally going to get destroyed by the 15 once they come into pit lane. Danny Roberts will be way ahead of them. They have an agenda on their mind for sure. Welker that time threw in a 17.5. Now Byron Daly really backed off, as did Cohen Evans. So Welker's driven away by over a second over Byron Daly. So maybe that is a change in strategy.
Yeah, I was gonna say if these guys, I was thinking if maybe one of these guys was planning on making the other two. Ooh, you see, Evans missed the corner, and that's gonna mess up his strategy completely.
Well, I think now you might see him pit here just to try to do something different because he just lost a bunch of ground, over 10 seconds on Welker and Daly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I was wondering if one of those three drivers is trying to just make the other two pit and then slow down to save fuel and maintain a 20-second gap, because you could do that. Although the others have to pit for that to be successful.
Look where Welker is. He's 2 seconds up the road now from Byron Daly. So I have to assume that Daly is now deciding to go with the official no-stop strategy. Welker seems like if he's driving away and he sees them leaving him this much gap, I got to assume the 76 is pitting. But I thought both these cars were going to try to stretch it.
Yeah, I thought both would indeed.
Roberts continuing to run 15.9, so absolutely killing the pace out there.
Yeah, he is only about 17 seconds behind Daly. 17 and a half.
And the pit sequence takes about 30 seconds, Finian. So Danny Roberts is going to be very far ahead of Byron Daly. So the question now is, can Welker magically come up with enough fuel to complete 6 more laps?
I have no clue, but he just set his fastest lap of the race, 16.3
at
that 76. Meanwhile, Daly ran a 17.6.
Daly's been managing. We've seen him he's changed his pace a lot throughout this race. He went and ran some really fast laps earlier, slowed way down into the mid to high 18s, and now it looks like he's kind of settling into the mid 17s for his race pace. Yeah,
and again, it's so hard to tell with these guys, especially Daly too. He's been, like you said, been changing it throughout the course of the race, so it's kind of hard to tell if he's going for it or trying to save some. So, and at this point now, it really looks like he's trying to save, as he's now 4 seconds behind Welker.
Through the slow, twisty stadium section, but yeah, 4 seconds spinning. That's a pretty large gap here. Back on throttle. Welker continues to extend the lead, not going to pit road this time by either. Skips by 5 laps to go for Mitchell Welker. Can he save enough fuel to make it to the end, or will Byron Daly outlast him in the fuel strategy? And Cohen Evans behind as well. He has not come to pit road either. Surprised by this. I would have thought he would have given up after missing the corner a couple laps ago. Denny Roberts continues to chase down all the leaders. Last time through on a 16.5, so a little bit slower, but let's see what he does this time through. Maybe a 16.4, so the tires have dropped off a little bit for that number 15 car. Now, I'm going to slap Welker here. If he runs out of fuel on the last lap, if he has a 6-second lead.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm kind of curious here. I would feel as the driver you wouldn't be going this fast unless you knew you were going to make it.
Well, and the other thing is even if you come down pit lane just for a splash, the pit lane sequence still takes 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say which is what he's at to about Roberts right now. He's 20 seconds ahead of
15.7 last time through.
Yeah, so he's 20.5 seconds ahead of Roberts right now. And yeah, if you were to come down and you get a splash of fuel, it'd be about a 1 or 2 second stop. It'll be about 29 seconds. I'll put him, yeah. Actually, sorry, not 29 seconds.
It'd be
22 seconds.
I don't see how this works for Welker either way.
Behind, yeah.
Unless he manages to save the fuel, which if he's confident in his fuel saving, then he's good to go. But the way he's been lapping, I mean, I don't know if he can make it. And don't forget, like, you know, when you're looking at the telemetry and it says that you'll finish the race with 0.2 gallons, the engine's going to start stuttering before it runs completely out of fuel. So it might start starting on the last lap and cause Welker to drop back all this time that he's gained.
Yeah, well, I think I would say probably one of the guys who's in the best position, I would say probably the 10 of Daly.
Oh, for sure.
Since he started backing off, because that way now if Welker runs out of fuel, which is what it apparently seems like he might. Again, hard to know without the official numbers in his car, but I would say with Daly backing off, I feel like he's probably not going to make it.
Either Daly's being really conservative and Welker's planning this just right, or Welker has no intentions of completing this race. But there's some lap traffic up ahead. That's going to be Will Roberts in the number 96, and that is Will Roberts.
Yeah, that is. And here's the thing too: if Welker runs out of fuel, he's kind of screwing himself in the points battle too, because Cohen Evans is in third. And Evans is close enough to where if Welker would run out of fuel, it'll be kind of close.
Can he afford this? I mean, if he makes this mistake, he's only going to drop. Probably the worst he's going to drop is 5th or 6th. But as you see, Tim Silliman back on pit. Oh, damage to the number 30. Big damage to the 39. And I imagine this probably was not a whole lot of fun. Oh, that was happening. Oh man. Ooh.
Yeah,
huge crash in turn 1 for the 39.
Not entirely surprised he didn't make the corner, as he was missing his entire front wing and the cone of the nose. He's just missing everything on that car.
Yeah, that car ain't going to turn very good. But here's the thing, is with the attrition rate this high, Welker might be able to afford a little bit of a mishap here with the fuel. So
yeah, now he'll finish lowest 5th with Silman's retirement here. So, I don't know. We'll find out in 3 laps.
Well, and again, we still have race number 2, so maybe Welker's pushing it hard here just to see what he can do for race number 2 and then adjust the strategy accordingly. 3 laps to go now. Byron Daly about 7 seconds behind Mitchell Welker. Cohen Evans 6 seconds behind Daly. And Danny Roberts continues to run 16.0 lap times, making up a ton of ground on the leaders. And if everyone has to come to pit road, if these front 3 come, that 15 is going to win by a huge margin. Not even going to be close. Stays out again, does Welker. 2 to go this time through. So now I gotta say he's committed. You're not gonna pit on the last lap. I've seen crazier things, but
I was gonna say I've seen crazier, so never know. But yeah, no, definitely. If he at this point, if he comes in now, Roberts is gonna blow by him by about 4 or 5 seconds, depending on how much fuel he takes. So
man, this is
yeah.
I'm stressed out for Welker down into Turn number 3 gets a little bit of curb on the apex. Gets some grass on the tire. Short shifting.
And again, if he's been doing it the whole run, which I would imagine he has been, hopefully for his sake.
Not when you're at a 15.7.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how much you do, yeah. But I don't know. It's kind of, again, it's kind of hard to tell because these guys were saving at the beginning, sorta, and then kind of in the middle, and then towards the end, it's like I have no clue. So we'll find out in a lap and a half now if Welker's going to run out. Or did he just time this to perfection?
Well, now the advantage is he has 8 seconds he can give back up in fuel savings the last couple laps, and we've seen him short shifting. And I gotta say that I'm a little bit more confident now seeing that that's his strategy here. But, you know, the other thing is that if he's short shifting, I think he knows he's really, really close. Because short shifting does not save you that much fuel.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. White flag this time through, Finney, and can Welker make it all the way around? Byron Daly, 8 seconds behind. Danny Roberts is going to be in trouble if none of these guys run out of fuel.
Yeah, Roberts is set to even finish in 4th. Evans is still on the track. Still putting on time. So, again, Welker, it's kind of hard to tell now. Is he going to start? I wonder if Welker is going to start going slow just to make sure that he has enough. Because he does have 8 seconds to spare to Byron Daly. Oh, I think I see some sputtering. I think I saw some sputtering.
He's obviously he's not getting a ton of throttle. I'm trying to listen to his throttle inputs here. Yeah, Finian, he's sputtering. That engine's not going to make it all the way around here, Finian. But the question is, how is Byron Daly doing?
I don't know.
He's short shifting too.
He's short shifting, but it's not sputtering. So if anything, Daly's in the catbird seat. I'd be amazed if this car's able to make it home.
Although it also could be the bumps making it look like he's sputtering.
Could be.
On the first gear.
I ask you because I cannot hear this at all.
Oh, he's back full throttle. It sounds okay, Fiddy. 2 more corners for the 76. Did he just totally eclipse everybody and save just enough fuel?
Looks like he did. He's going to come out of the turn here. He's going to floor it as much as he can.
And Mitchell Welker, with fantastic strategy and excellent understanding of his race car, will come home and win the first of 2 Detroit duels here in the Fuel IndyCar Series by 8 seconds over Byron Daly. So obviously, Welker knows what he's doing out there and just completely snookered everybody on strategy. Byron Daly comes across the line second. Cohen Evans third. Danny Roberts got to be disappointed with that. Was really leading the race. Probably could have saved it. Everyone else in front of him did, but will come home in 4th. Well, Roberts in the number 96 will have to make it all the way around as well, but again, he's pitted, so he will get there. Well, Mitchell Welker, I mean, that was... when he hit an 8-second lead...
He's still driving around, too.
He's got plenty of fuel left in the tank.
Yeah.
Whatever he did to save fuel, he did a lot better than everybody else. The Cordis Sim Racing 76 did an excellent job strategy-wise here. We'll come back around and celebrate, but Welker, that shows why he's doing so well in the points, Finney, and that's just an excellent understanding of racecraft, understanding where you need to put your car, and Mitchell Welker will do a quick burnout here in the runoff area before heading to race number 2. And has enough fuel for the burnout. That's
yeah.
Well, he's going to get beached on the
curb. Oh, he did. Damn. But fantastic job from that 76. Yeah, honestly, didn't think he would have anywhere close to enough, but again, he's still flooring the engine. You can see the tires spinning.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's it for round number 1 here in the Fuel IndyCar Series. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with round number 2 and round 14 of the season's championship, and we'll do it all again for another full points race here in just a couple minutes. Stay with us. We'll be back in a little while. Welcome back here to Sim TV. We're here with race winner from round number 13 and round 1 of the night, Mitchell Welker. Mitchell, we thought for a little while that you were totally going to run out of fuel, but you snookered everybody on that strategy. Walk us through the steps you took to save fuel and make it to the end of the race and still had enough fuel for a burnout.
Well, a huge part of it was sitting behind Byron for the majority of the race. You know, he was obviously saving as well, and sitting behind him gave me that little bit of draft on the straight as well, and he was braking earlier too, so I was able to even easier stay behind him and still save gas. And you know, near the end, I just made the pass and just kept saving the same way I was, and Byron kept falling back. So I was, ended up pretty good.
Was there any point in the race that you doubted that you'd be able to make it to the end, because it seemed like everyone was kind of going back and forth on saving fuel and going all out?
Not at all. I tested the strat for the past couple of days, and I knew the fuel target, and I matched the fuel target. All pretty easy stuff.
All right, Mitchell. Well, congrats on the race number 1 victory. And what do you think you have for race number 2? You think you're going to do the same thing again?
Hope so.
All right, Mitchell. Well, good luck, and we'll see you later.
See ya.
All right, we'll talk to Zach Buchanan now. And talk to the driver of the number 40. Zach, I know that didn't go exactly as you wanted it to, but it started off pretty good. But walk us through those first couple laps and ultimately what took you out of the race.
Well, I was off to a good start. I had some real pace. It was kind of hard to try to get around Mitch and Byron. I was aiming for a bit of a different strategy there that ultimately didn't pay out because I crashed out too early. And in the end, I just way overdid it under braking and put it in the wall.
For race number 2, is there any adjustment to the strategy, or are you just going to try to do the same thing again without the contact?
I've got some ideas. I don't know how they'll work out, but I think I've got something good in the works here. We'll have to see.
All right, Zach. Well, good luck, and we'll see you out there.
All right, thank you.
No problem. All right, we'll jump to break real quick for just a couple more minutes. I'm going to install a new camera file. I'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back live here to Sim TV. We're here for race number 2, round 14 of the Fuel IndyCar Series. We watched a crazy battle for fuel strategy and for the overall win. Mitchell Welker took it home in that number 76 car, completely hit his fuel numbers and had no doubts about how he was going to do. Meanwhile, we were up here in the booth sweating it off. So now that we know that it's easily doable if you plan it out right, I think we'll see more people try to stretch it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Roberts probably learned his lesson. As long as he can stay in behind those guys and just follow them around, he should be able to save enough behind them, as well as maybe doing a little bit of short shifting here and there throughout the race. It can really add up.
Well, I think as long as you stay behind the 76 car, you're probably going to be okay. So I think Byron Daly will probably try to keep a little bit closer eye on that 76 this time through. And I don't think we'll see quite as many one-stoppers, and we'll see more two-stoppers. You see Byron Daly jump the curb there, and thanks to Finian for adding this camera last minute prior to race number 1. And I had this camera in my old camera pack, and when we got the new cameras, overrode it, and I didn't have it anymore. So it's back, and curb cam returns here. And you see Brian Yaksic in the fence. We've seen a pretty high attrition rate the first time through, Finian, and I expect to see more of that here. And actually, do we have another? Oh no, it's still the same 15. All right, well, warm-up is over. We'll grid him up and go again here. And I believe the gridding order is the previous, or the finishing order from race number 1. So, and indeed, it's gonna. We'll wait for it to tick over here, and yes, it is. So the finishing order from the last race will determine the starting grid for this one. And your starting grid will be on the left-hand side of your screen. And Zach Buchanan, we talked to him post-race 1, and disappointed with the wreck that he had in the previous race. So hopefully he can climb back up there. But he's probably the quickest guy that's starting deeper in the field this time through. He has to get around Josh Gallagher, Will Roberts, and Tim Stillman, all who he was quicker than in the previous race. So we'll have to ride and stay with Zach Buchanan through this, and especially the first couple laps, it's going to be important to see how Zach Buchanan handles the traffic.
Yeah, I think so. Like you were saying, had some pace, but now, yeah, stuck in traffic. So it'll be interesting to see that 40 drive through, and he's also kind of in around where a lot of those guys crashed in the first race. So he's got to potentially avoid a wreck or two here.
All right, well, interestingly, Finian, gridding is complete here, and we have 4 drivers that did not grid, and one of them is Danny Roberts in the number 15. Really surprised at that. I don't know why he wouldn't grid. Maybe he had somewhere to go or was frustrated with how race number 1 went, but Danny Roberts will not grid for this second race. And neither does Robillard, McQuistion, or Dulger.
So we got 11 cars here ready to take the green flag. Ace car is in.
Green flag in the air for race number 2, 25 laps again. Off, and we're racing here again at Belle Isle. Look at Byron Daly, really aggressive. He'll take the lead heading off into the first couple corners.
Yeah, aggressive move around the outside. He's going to get it done. And
oh, man.
Buchanan already up into 5th place.
He didn't take any prisoners, got around Will Roberts and Tim Silliman and took those spots away, and will charge up to the inside of, is that Byron?
Oh, Josh Gallagher.
Josh Gallagher, yep.
Yeah, he actually missed the turn, so he had to let all these cars by, and he's going to lose a lot of position.
He managed not to hit the wall, I believe, so he made it through there okay. Byron Daly jumps out to an early lead over Mitchell Walker. We've seen this story before.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the exact, pretty much same setup with almost the same drivers here in a slightly different order.
First time through big curb corner. Tim Silman to the inside.
Yeah, Silman making a move on Buchanan.
Has to give it up here. A couple left-handers coming up, and that will give Buchanan the advantage. Up to 4th goes the 40, so he's on a tear already, trying to make up as many spots as he can. And maybe Buchanan should be... Oh, you see Will Roberts get loose in the background. Maybe Buchanan can afford to be a little bit more aggressive here in the opening stages and save fuel later.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to try to do. At least put him in the position, put him in the draft of the leaders. That way he can then start to save.
Battle for second now. Kohan Evans has chased down Mitchell Welker in that number 76 car. So Evans trying to roll up on the rear bumper or rear wing of Mitchell Welker, and maybe a battle for position. Again, Cohen's very, very fast, especially on the oval side of things. And haven't seen, he's been competitive, but hasn't really gone for the win. Wasn't much of a factor in the last race. So curious to see if he'll get himself up here and go for it a little bit more in this race, knowing that he's hit his fuel numbers.
Yeah, he especially needs to do so. He lost about, I think, I would say 2 positions behind Kohan Evans. Oh, Welker loose!
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Well, underpants are soiled there for the 76, but that's going to give Cohen Evans a great run on the back straightaway. Backs out, taps the brakes, will stay behind the 76. Here's the thing, though. Remember how much Welker said he was drafting behind Byron Daly in the first race? Daly has pulled out to a 4-second lead, and Welker doesn't have that draft to rely on.
16.1 for the 10 of Byron Daly. I'm actually gonna, and you can see that Welker has a lot of damage to his right front as he had to point the car right to try to save it. So,
did he get into the fence at the apex of that corner?
Yeah, he hit the, well, that's where he got that right front damage from. So definitely tagged it a little bit. I'm surprised he doesn't have more damage than that, but he's going to hold up all these guys behind him.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that, Finney. That wall really sticks out, but to get the best run onto the back straight, you really have to get that right front fender, or in this case, right front wing, right as close as you can to that wall, and I'm talking millimeters, and Welker just got a little bit too close. You see in the background, Yaksik gets tied off a turn 2. We'll continue moving forward as we have a battle now. Cohen Evans, and looks like Buchanan's going to get around Cohen Evans for the 3rd spot.
He's gonna. No, I thought I was gonna say he's gonna try to work around the outside. Buchanan cut him off, so Buchanan's gonna take away 3rd place. And does Buchanan have enough pace to get around Welker? Welker doesn't have too much to defend with that damage.
Riding on board now is Zach Buchanan. Really revving that engine out right now. As much, he's really catching Welker. I think he wants to get ahead of Welker, maybe control his own destiny a little bit more, take some more control over this race.
Yeah, because at the rate they're going, they're losing a lot of time to Daly, and I'm sure Daly now is just trying to gun it. I'm wondering actually, you know what, it could be a minute. I think Daly's just going to go balls to the walls, go as fast as possible, pit, and then make up the delta.
Yeah, I believe Evan Adams in the number 59 is taking a chunk out of the wall again. If I can't find it immediately, we'll jump back live, but no, it looks like let's see here. And was unable to find that, so Evan Adams out again early here at Belle Isle. We'll head back up to the live. Byron Daly leads now by 7.3 seconds. Buchanan, Finian, into pit road early.
Interesting, and you know, this is actually a smart move here. This is a move to get him out of the traffic. Remember, he was behind Welker, who had a damaged car, so figured he was going to be slowed by him anyway. Let's come into the pits now, get some clean air to that nose, and just charge the front.
Well, so he's good now, fuel-wise, but and everyone else in front of him still has to do the saving that they did last time. But I don't know, Finian. I mean, everyone else, the top 3 last race didn't come to pit road at all, and we saw how that worked out for the number 15 at Danny Roberts, and it didn't work out very well. So I'm a little bit surprised at that. After seeing Welker complete it, I wouldn't have thought anybody would come down pit road this time.
Well, I think Buchanan just saw it as the easiest way because he knew that Welker was going to be in front of him, and again, hard to pass here, even if your car's damaged. So he saw that Welker was being able to keep these guys behind him. So I think Buchanan just saw this would be faster to just come into the pits, try to just use, since he has enough fuel to make it to the end now, just go floor it and go as fast as possible, trying to make that gap up.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the difference. He's 30 seconds back now from leader Byron Daly, so he's got a lot of ground to make up. But, I mean, I suppose it's possible you lap a second or 2 quicker each lap, but you could get yourself back up there and maybe put some pressure on the leaders.
Yeah, so I think, so based off of Buchanan's pit road delta, it was a 24.8 with a 4.5 second stop, so that was definitely with fuel only. So I would say that if he can get within that, he should be able to get Byron Daly if Daly were to come down pit road, and it honestly looks like it is. He's putting down. He put down a 15.4.
Now, I think what Daly's going to try to do here, judging by what he's running, is he'll probably run as long as he can, as fast as he can, then come down for as little fuel as possible, and then try to just outdrive everyone else on raw pace. That's a tricky strategy to make work, but I think he could do it. He's got out to almost a 10-second lead already, so that's half the pit delta right there. And Welker, I'm curious. He's slowed. He's real slow, about 2 seconds off the pace of Byron Daly, but trying to hit his fuel numbers on his own time. But obviously doesn't have the help from Byron Daly in front of him to draft off of. So could adjust the strategy just a little bit for the 76.
And I would say it's honestly even hurting him more because his car's going to experience more drag because of the wing. It's knocked out where it is. So the car's going to have to do more work to get through the air. So it's going to make him use up more fuel to go as fast as he needs to. So I don't think it's really the situation with the wing bent up is helping that 76 car.
Well, Tim Silman, this race is going a lot better this time through for the driver of the 39 car. 20 laps to go now, and up and over. Will Roberts in the number 96 is currently P4, as Byron Daly has already come to pit road. That is a surprise to me, Finian. Oh, no, he didn't come to pit road. Where?
No.
Oh, he must have. I think that the ticker is just slow because it's the heat race format here, Finian. So yeah, so the number 10 of Byron Daly had come down pit lane and has completed his stop.
Yeah, took a significantly faster stop than Buchanan.
So just getting a tiny splash.
Oh, or was it the same? I don't know what's going on anymore. It just changed the number there.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, when you don't restart the ticker with the heat formats, they get a little bit wonky. so anyway, Kohan Evans now in second behind Mitchell Welker, putting some pressure on the 76, but Daly and Buchanan are done. And Daly is about 6 seconds up the road from Buchanan now, so...
Yeah, that was about where it was when they came in. A little bit, I would say a little bit closer. Buchanan was able to make it, so... I don't know, it's going to be close between those guys. If it's now a question if does Buchanan have enough pace to catch up to Daly? Because I have some doubts about the rest of these guys making it, although you never know.
Alright, well, here's what I'm going to do. Is we're going to just... we need to have this telemetry working right, so we'll show you a quick replay of Kohan Evans working his way around the racetrack as we restart our ticker so that we have accurate data. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, definitely so.
Kohan Evans trying to chase down Welker through turns 1 and 2. And real smooth for Kohan Evans.
And again, now for Evans, it's really just more of a matter of just trying to get the pass done on Welker. Or actually, you know what, I kind of wonder at this point, is Evans probably just using Welker as fuel-saving strategy? Kind of what Welker did.
Yeah, I think, well, Evans now is going to try to employ what Welker did on Byron Daly last time through. Which, I like that strategy, but again, Welker's so good at this that I'm curious to see if anybody else can beat him in his own game.
So, again, it's kind of tough to tell here, really, because Welker has now been in front of Evans, hasn't really been able to do much fuel saving other than slowing the pace down. And again, part of me is kind of, I think part of it, that slow time is due to the damage to that car, not so much by the 76's will.
Yeah, certainly that damage isn't going to help the 76, but at the same time, he needs to hit his numbers regardless of the damage that he has. So, and he'll hit them a lot better if he's driving slower. Now, the problem is if you have damage, it's going to increase the drag on that car, which means you have to hold down the throttle more, and more throttle and less speed is going to mean a very inefficient ride for that 76 car. But, I mean, he had an entire lap of fuel post-race after race number 1. I think he knows what numbers he has to hit. He told us how confident he was last time. I don't think this is going to change very much. Byron Daly back on pit lane, Finian. Is he?
Yeah, for a while now. I think this is for damage or something. Let's see if we can catch a replay.
I don't see any damage on that car, but let's go back and take a look. Ah, yes.
There's damage.
And it's going to be the same corner that we normally see it, and we're right on board here. And this next corner, I think, is the trickiest one on course, and it's just a very awkward corner here, and I would imagine just got in a little bit hot, and understeered, yep, into the fence. Oh, man, vicious contact there for the number 10, and just like that, race over for the 10 car.
Yeah, I think he just figured that, yeah, at this point, it probably wasn't worth too much staying back out there.
No, I think that'll be a retirement for the 10. So good race number 1 for Daly, not a great number 2. Battle for second. Tim Silman to the inside of Kohan Evans.
Yeah, we'll see. Does Silman decided to hit the gas pedal now? He decided it's time to go. You see the brakes going red hot as he came by the frame.
I'm not surprised that there are very certain cars that seems to be happening for. I'm not sure why that is.
I'm guessing the guys are driving a lot more aggressively than the others.
But more brake usage for the 39 of Silman, but Silman's closing in on Welker now, and they're all pushing Welker a little bit more, and Welker doesn't have as many drivers in front. Actually, has no drivers in front of him to lean on for draft.
You know who's really closing in? 40 of Zach again. Last time.
Oh, man.
1.6 seconds faster than Welker.
And they need to keep hitting these numbers. I don't think they can really afford to go any faster than this. And Buchanan, last time threw in a 16.1, has a best lap of a 15.4. And now only 12 seconds back from Mitchell Welker. So he's going to get there if he keeps going at this pace.
And if he keeps that pace up, he's going to catch there with time to spare. So, again, he's got to pass the guys that are ahead of him, but it's, I don't know, it's not that tall of an order, I don't think.
I think he can do it. He's got to keep the pressure on, though, and cannot afford to back off. He's got to keep going, because not only does he have to get there, he has to pass them, and I don't think they're going to turn up the wick for sure to hold him back. And Welker knows exactly how much. Sorry to interrupt you there, Finian.
Yeah, speaking of turning up the wick, here comes Tim Stillman on the outside of Welker. I think Welker can't really do much here yet. He's going to let him have the position, and Stillman up to the lead.
Now, does Stillman commit to a one-stopper now? Because wasn't able to save enough fuel last time. Well, actually wrecked out in the first race, so Stillman doesn't have the experience so far that Welker does. And Welker seems like he's pretty well-versed in the practice. He took a lot of time, went out in practice earlier this week, figured out exactly what numbers he needed to hit. I don't think Stillman put that much time in.
I don't know. I think Stillman might have something here, just for the fact he was behind Evans and Welker. So he was just sitting there the whole time. He actually flashed out a screen there. Hopefully he comes back. There he is. But, yes, Stillman, he was sitting behind the 17 and the 76, so he could potentially have enough if he just saved enough. So he's got 16 laps to go that he's pulled out now and starting to make some time.
Zach Buchanan now only 10.7 seconds back. He's continuing to reel in the lead drivers. Run a 16.0. Also, I just have to say this is kind of hilarious. Our ticker has Tim Stillman's last lap time as a 0.9 seconds, which is really fast. I think that's actually double light speed. But Tim Stillman now leads by 8 tenths of a second over Mitchell Welker. Cohen Evans behind, putting pressure on Welker now, but Evans staying right in the draft of that 76 car.
And part of me actually kind of feels that Stillman decided to break out in front because he saw Buchanan coming. And decided to try to build up a gap now. Well, sooner rather than later.
Buchanan ran another 16.1 the last time through.
Yeah, I would put Stillman's time. It's not showing for us as he blinked that last lap. I would say it's about high 17. So,
Welker slowed way down to an 18.6.
So again, yeah, if Buchanan keeps this up, he should be able to catch Welker. Whether or not Cohen Evans will still be behind him is a question up in the air.
Stillman continues to run laps out in front of Welker and Evans by 1.7 seconds. Maybe Stillman is going to employ the strategy of driving out as far as he can and then saving, like what Welker did last time. Check in on Buchanan. His progress has slowed a little bit. No damage on that car, but 10.3 seconds back. But he's still going to be eating into this lead a little bit quicker if he wants to get there. He was making up a ton of time last time through, but I don't know if this is...
And I think part of that's due to Stillman getting in front and put down a 16.5. So,
but in relative to Welker and Evans, he's making up a ton of ground. But to Stillman, he still needs to do a little bit more work.
And again, I think that's probably why the 39 has decided it's time to go now regardless. Because he does not want the 40. He knows that he's fast and doesn't want him to catch up to him.
Right front suspension cam on the 40 of Zach Buchanan. This is such a cool angle.
Yeah, they did a... I just gotta say, iRacing's done a fantastic job with the newer cars on the suspension. Look at that. It looks absolutely amazing.
Even the flex in the... Like, look down here. I mean, I'm pointing so no one else can see this, but look at the flex in the carbon fiber. I mean, that is phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, it looks absolutely impressive. They did a great job with Carl, just entirely with the visuals.
We'll watch him down onto the curbs here. Will he use it? Just a tad. All right, well, Cohen Evans now 0.6 of a second behind Mitchell Welker, so the draft still employed there by the 17 to save a little bit more fuel, but we're coming now to 13 laps to go. Tim Stillman up the road by 2.3 seconds.
It's Stillman's slow, and I see why. He's got some damage.
Oh, man. Yeah, big damage for the 39 car.
I was wondering why he backed off the pace, and there you see on the screen why.
And I'm going to take a random guess.
Oh. I guess that wasn't that random of a guess.
No, I mean...
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, well, again, this corner is the evilest corner in all of corners.
It is very deceiving.
You go in there, and sometimes you go way too slow, sometimes you go way too fast. I don't think I've ever made a corner here at Belle Isle where I felt happy about how that was, but Tim Stillman retired from the race with that damage.
And I think, honestly, this might have just given the race to the 40 of Zach Buchanan now.
Buchanan's still making up a ton of ground. He's got 13 laps to go to catch, and he's only got to go up 4 seconds up the road.
Yeah, so it's starting to look...
Oh, he spins and throws it away just like that. And, oh, man, that is so frustrating to see, Finian.
Okay, so ignore the timing on the left side of the screen. It's gone absolutely berserk, I think, with Stillman retiring.
Yeah, no, it'll fix itself once.
So now, with Buchanan making that error, that's definitely way too much time to make up at this point. Actually, I don't...
12 seconds. He's got to more than a second a lap quicker if he wants to make up that ground. Possible, but unlikely.
Yeah, and I only say possible because Evans might still have to save again. Kind of hard to tell with him, but I think Evans would have enough. I mean, it's kind of looking more like in the 17's favor now. Evans just has to get around the 76. The 76 has a damaged car, and I would imagine that Welker has not been saving as much as Evans, if anything. So,
well, he's been out front.
Yeah,
for the majority of the race, which is a disadvantage in a fuel saving situation.
Yeah, nope,
here comes Evans. Oh nope, backs out. I think he wants to stay behind there, Finney. That was cleverly thought out by the 17.
And he has some time to work with to make this move. Not that much pressure from behind from the 40 of Buchanan, now 11 seconds back.
All right, well, here's the thing, Finian. 12 laps to go, 11 seconds. If he can lap at least a second quicker, he will get there.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think Evans needs to go now and start putting faster laps than Welker, because otherwise Buchanan's going to catch them both. So,
well, provided he doesn't spin out again.
Yeah.
That didn't help his progress. I mean, he would have certainly easily been there had that not happened, but obviously the spin slowed the progress for the 40 of Zach Buchanan.
Definitely think he's probably kicking himself too.
Well, and the other thing is he has to push harder now, and that's always opens up the opportunity for more mistakes. So got to keep the head on the shoulders and go up there and just take it away. Close in a second already this lap so far. We're not even halfway done with the lap, so Buchanan still could get there. Don't count him out just yet. Up front though, Owen Evans playing this perfectly, forcing Welker to stay out front, use up that fuel. But Welker, again, he knows what he doesn't have to. He didn't rely on the 10-0 daily last time. He hit his numbers regardless. So curious to see. And I will say Welker his average lap time this race has been slower than last race. So he's taking into account he doesn't have the draft. Here comes Owen Evans now to the inside, maybe looking in the rear view, seeing Zach Buchanan come, but he spins out of turn 3 into the wall just to taps it.
Be kind of, I guess not that close.
Buchanan's coming around the corner here, Finian.
And Evans is going to get it going, but not enough. Buchanan's going to take away second place. And cue the Jaws music.
Well, already 9 seconds down, 11 to go. 8.8 now. Buchanan's making up a ton of ground, Finian. 2 seconds quicker last time through.
I think, again, unless Buchanan doesn't make a mistake, I think he might have this. Because, again, Welker, damaged car. I think he would imagine he might have saved enough. Again, hard to tell with his situation. But, yeah, Buchanan can pretty much just throw everything out the window now and just go for it.
He's going to have to go for it now. Yeah. I mean, Welker's going to turn up the wick when he sees the 40 coming. He's going to use every ounce of fuel that he has at his disposal. Can't quite see the 76 up the road just yet, but soon that'll change as Buchanan continues to rattle off impressive lap times. So Welker just now entering turn 1. Buchanan coming out of the final corner. 7.9 back, 10 to go. A 16-1 to an 18-1 for Welker.
Yeah,
2 seconds quicker.
2 seconds, yeah. Yeah, the numbers don't lie. So I think, again, Buchanan's got this. If he does not make a mistake, it looks like Owen Evans actually made the trip down pit road.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's just accepting that that strategy wasn't going to work after that spin. So Owen Evans has come down. Will Roberts is now in third. So this is, interestingly, the one-stop strategy has worked better in race 2 than it did in race 1.
Yeah, and just kind of where the ducks laid. It's
what? What is that? I've never heard that in my life.
No, what? It's something with ducks.
Where the ducks have laid?
No, I said it wrong.
Your bed is made your bed. Now you have to lay in it.
No,
oh my goodness! The ducks have laid.
Oh, eggs. Eggs have been laid. I don't know what I was trying to say.
What is going on?
Anyway, whatever. I was trying to come up with some analogy. Yeah, so Buchanan's catching Welker now 6.4 seconds. I am surprised though that Evans decided to come in though, because he's fallen behind Roberts and he would have been ahead of him had he stayed out. So kind of curious on that front.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Welker now continuing to run his numbers again. Zach Buchanan a second and a half quicker, 6.2 back, 9 laps to go. He's making up the time he needs to make up. So you see him down there in the background. He is coming, Finian, and he's gonna have time to get there, but he's got to stay on the pace that he's doing, and he's also counting on the fact that Welker's not going to turn up the wick.
And as you say that, Welker, wow, see Buchanan take up some grass there. Welker just set his fastest lap though. It's only a 17.3, so
1.9 seconds slower than that of Zachary Buchanan. So Buchanan's still running quick laps, but Welker, now how's the damage on that 76? That's bad enough to be affecting the turn into that car.
Yeah, the entire right front wheel is exposed to the air.
And we're just waiting here, wait for Zach Buchanan to come through. Here he comes. 5.6 back. So
I'm kind of curious to see now if Welker has indeed turned it up to a full peg. Because it looks like the progress has kind of stalled out. Although Buchanan did make a little bit of an error running through the grass, so that might have affected the time. So we'll see as they come across stripe this time by what their lap times are.
Yeah, if Welker is still in the 17s, it's going to be an advantage for Buchanan. That time through a 17.1, so a little bit quicker yet for Mitchell Welker. And a 16.3, so about 0.8 of a second. 5.1 back. You can see him up the road here, Finian, and Buchanan's got to be pushing really hard now, seeing the win right in front of him. And Buchanan won the Indianapolis race earlier this year, correct?
Yes.
So he's got a win on the season already. But certainly this would be a great morale booster heading into the last couple races of the season, all which will be broadcasted here live on SimTV the next couple of Thursdays. 4.8 seconds the gap now. No one else will be a factor in this one unless there's a mistake made by either of the front two.
Yeah, I was going to say Will Roberts is trying to see it. Things annoying.
Sorry.
There we go. 19.8 seconds behind.
4.5 now. Again, you mentioned how the progress has slowed a little bit. Welker has turned it up just a little bit. Buchanan needs to stay on the power, though. He cannot afford to back down at all. You see him really pushing the car there through Wall of Death corner, as you've so aptly named it. Oh, that's so close.
I was going to say, if Buchanan hits the wall, it's going to be game over there, but now it's just about under 4 seconds the gap, or actually just went up a little bit.
17.8 for Welker and 16.6, so 1.2 seconds faster. Still enough time for him to get there, 3.9, and now Welker's got to be looking in the mirrors. That 40 is getting ever so slightly bigger. Ooh, took a big chunk of curb in turn 3.
I'm kind of curious. That was a oddly slow lap for the 40 of Buchanan compared to what he was putting down earlier. So I'm kind of wondering, are his tires starting to get away from his car?
I don't even think it really matters. If Welker has to keep running the high 17s, it's not going to matter at all. Buchanan's now 3.5 back. We mentioned about 11 laps ago, he was about 10 seconds behind. Now he's 7 to go and 3.3 behind. So as long as that progress doesn't slow too much, he's still going to get there. Man, it's going to be close, though.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It would have been a lot easier if he didn't spin the car out. But...
No, he would have had it by now.
Yeah.
So, still making progress nonetheless. Just about to go under 3 seconds now.
So I imagine Welker's still running high 17 as we come around to complete lap number 19. We'll have 6 laps to go. 3.2 seconds is the difference. What does Welker run? A 17.3. Buchanan's going to be probably low 16s, a 16.1. So 1.1 seconds faster. At this rate, he'll be there in 2 laps.
You can see visually, too, from the last time we saw the camera angle, how much further Welker was up the track. And now Buchanan really just closing that in now under 3 seconds. Again, he has to make sure, though, it doesn't make a mistake.
It's very easy to get carried away here, Vinny, and a little bit too much throttle. We've seen Buchanan make that mistake already. Also, not braking enough, trying to roll the center a little bit more. He can end up in the fence, as Tim Silliman did and others. Again, the attrition in this race has been significantly higher than the other ones. Josh Gallagher, the last car running in 5th, 1 lap down in that number 12 car. 2.3 seconds the difference. Welker's got to be getting worried now.
Yeah, I can imagine. And again, he can't do much with it, too, with that damage. He can try to defend only once, but Buchanan's got fresher tires and a completely fine car.
That's my fear for Welker, is even if he does turn up the heat now and he's got enough fuel to make it to the end, he's not going to be able to lap as quick as Buchanan because he has damage, as you mentioned. So Buchanan is really at an advantage here. We come now to 5 laps to go. It's a 2-second difference between first and second. Going to be even less than that next time by. The question is how much? A 17.1 and a 15.9 for Zach Buchanan. Another 1.2 second delta between the top 2. He'll be there at the end of this lap, Finian. 1.9 back.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, so fantastic pace from Buchanan. I thought he was slowing down, but it just, I guess, took a breather and got back to it.
Love this camera so much as we make our way onto the back straightaway now. 1.8 seconds. 1.7 now. Welker into the corner. He's a little bit hot, so is Buchanan, but they both make it through 1.3 seconds. It's closing in even closer. I think we're going to have a lead change here in just a minute or two.
I kind of wonder if Welker's actually going to put up a fight or is he just going to let the 40 have it.
It's going to be a great points night for Welker regardless.
Oh, absolutely, because his rival, again, Evans, is... if Welker were to finish second, which is where it looks like he will end up if Buchanan gets around him, will still be 2 positions ahead of Evans, so that's another 2 points. So his total for the day, actually, not including a lap led, would be, so he would have about 6 points ahead of 6 points more, so 10 in total heading into the next round.
Battle for the lead is on. 0.7 of a second separate the top 2. Zach Buchanan has come from a spin. Can he get the win now with 4 laps to go? It's closed in. Gets a little bit tight in turn 3, and you got to be careful. You cannot throw it away this late. He is right there. He's in the catbird seat. He just got to get around the 76.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of understeer that got me nervous, but looks like he's got it all under control. And again, has some time to work with. He's right on the back bumper of Welker. Has 4 laps to get this pass done.
From high above, Welker now leads. But it's awful close now. Buchanan's close. Look, closing in the braking zone right to the rear wing of the 76.
And yeah, I don't think he'll get him in this section, potentially on the front straightaway.
It's really close now. Almost a half a second. Onto the last corner, coming to 3 laps to go now. Buchanan is there. Can he get the pass complete? Is Welker going to turn up the heat? Last time through ran a 16.6 spinning. What's he run this time? A 16.6 again. To Buchanan's 15.9, but has Welker hit his numbers? Oh, Buchanan hits the curb.
Yeah, has to back out just a little bit. Still has some pace, though.
Down into turn 3. Here comes Buchanan. Chucks it down the inside.
Nope,
gets out of the mirror of Welker. It kind of went for a dive bomb there and couldn't complete it. Lost a little bit of ground. Welker has definitely turned up the heat.
And again, is it a question, is it enough, though?
Buchanan's brakes are literally red hot. Melting the rotors out of that.
Yeah, that's him using up every single inch of it. Or not inch, it's just using up as much as he can of it. You can see him right there now. Close as it's been. 0.4 of a second.
Oh, Buchanan locked up big time there. Dragged the left front tire. That's not going to help the tire wear situation. Up onto the curb. He's getting really aggressive. Finian, you can't be too aggressive. He's really close to that wall. Coming to 2 laps to go. Welker has obviously turned up the heat, so I have to assume he's got his numbers, Finian.
He's got his numbers, but again, does he have enough car left to defend this 40 now? Coming down across the stripe. 2 laps to go.
Into turn 1. Welker doesn't have as much downforce as Buchanan does, but Buchanan's got the arrow shadow. Through turn 2.
Welker pushing through the wall. That's how hard he's pushing right now.
Going to be a big slipstream for the 40 of Zach Buchanan. Here he comes to the inside. Zach Buchanan down in the braking zone into turn 3. Will overtake the 76 of Welker. Welker slides wide. Pass for position. 2 laps to go.
Looked like Welker was trying to do the over-under, but again, we just can't do it with that lack of downforce, and Buchanan's going to have the lead and pretty much drive away with it.
Will Roberts on pit lane here, Finian, and massive damage to the number 96 car. We'll quickly go back and take a look at what caused this. This is a big wreck from what I've seen so far.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, spun out and flipped the car over in the stadium section, Finian, and that'll be a day over for the 96, but we'll probably finish P5.
Yeah, he'll get a 5th place out of this. Evans will get 3rd place back.
Welker is not done yet, Finian. He's still about a half a second behind. I don't know if he can get the job done, but if he can stay close enough onto the front or back straightaway, he might have an opportunity to get back by. He's got to stay within a half a second, I think, for that draft to really be effective, though. We come out of the final corner, coming to 1 lap to go. Zach Buchanan has led 1 lap. Can he lead 1 more here today?
Yeah, they come in. You can see that Welker, I'm still impressed by the amount of pace that car has, but I just, again, don't think it's enough. Looks like, yeah, that's going to be too far back.
Deep into the corner, Buchanan goes defensive. Welker closes in the braking zone. He's got 1 more long straightaway to make an attempt at it.
If he can stay close on this next straightaway, he might have a shot here, but again, has to stay close here.
I don't think he's going to be able to do it, Finney. He might have 1 more shot if he can get this corner done. He does. He's pretty close here, Finney. They might have a battle for the lead on our hands onto the back straightaway for the final time.
It's going to be kind of close here. They head down the back straightaway into the heavy braking zone here.
Slipstream coming. Welker closes on the brakes.
And no dice that time through.
I think all your passing opportunities are gone, Finian. Welker, he's going to have to send it if he wants to have one more shot. He looks to the outside. Can he throw it down the inside late? I don't think he's going to be able to get there, Finian.
He's got to, I mean, yeah, his only other chance would be through this corner here, but not even alongside.
Buchanan makes it through, tight off the corner, but will come out of the final corner here by just over a half a second. Zachary Buchanan will win race number 2 here at Detroit Belle Isle with an excellently played strategy. Mitchell Welker, a great points day in the 76, will come home P2. Cohen Evans, he's about a half a lap behind these guys, but will come around in 3rd place.
Yeah, and again, just solid job by Buchanan. Came down the pits, recovered from a spin too, just to get around Mitchell Welker, coming to 2 laps to go. So a very close finish between these guys.
And I just got to say, that strategy, I mean, he had to know exactly how much he needed to make up. And with the spin, I thought it was over. But we doubted him for a moment after that spin on the back straight. Well, there's another spin. Oh, man.
Oh, they didn't. Oh,
that was really close.
Welker did not hit him, so that car is still clean.
But Buchanan will loop it back around and go again. As Cohen Evan crosses the start-finish line, he'll complete the end of the race here. Josh Gallagher retired a little while ago. He'll finish 4th. Actually, Roberts and Gallagher are both shown in 5th place. So I don't know how that's possible, but...
Should be Gallagher 4th, Roberts
5th.
Yeah.
But Buchanan does burnouts now, and again, these guys are teammates. So they've swept... Oh, there goes the rest of the wing. They've swept the Detroit Duels here. We'll talk to them in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live here to SimTV. We're here with Race 2 winner Zach Buchanan. Zach, we thought for a moment that strategy was foiled when you spun on the back straightaway, but through some excellent, amazingly quick lap times, you managed to track down Mitchell Welker and pass him with 2 laps to go. Walk us through that chase and ultimately the pass for the win.
Well, my strategy worked perfectly. I If I hadn't spun there, I could have finished with a much bigger margin, but pretty much it worked exactly as I wanted. Pit early, get the fuel I need, and just run as hard as I can to the end.
After you spun out, did you doubt that you were going to be able to get back up there? Because it was a scary moment for us, and we honestly, we said, I don't think we can do that. But after doing the math a little bit later, we figured you were still on a charge and could get it done.
I was doubtful. I think I still had it in me, just due to the ground I gained in the laps before that. But I expected it to be pretty much as close as it was at the finish there, because I knew Mitch would be a lot better on fuel.
And
Mitchell,
sorry to interrupt you there, Zach, but Mitchell, the fuel situation for you, you had to save a little bit more fuel this time, maybe because the leader of Byron Daly wasn't out in front of you to save, but just had to give up just enough time to let Zach get back around you. Would you do anything different if you could do it again?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think regardless of how I went about it, as far as the fuel saving, Zach would have got it done. And, I didn't feel comfortable doing the pit strat because I knew I was a little more dangerous when I went to go push a little bit faster. So I felt safer doing the save fuel, and I'm happy for Zach, obviously. A teammate, we got the Cordis 1-2 in the final race. So, I'll take it.
And taking indeed a solid points night for Mitchell Welker and a great result for Zach Buchanan in that race number 2, Finian. But let's talk to Will Roberts, 5th place driver. Will, I know it was going real good up until about a couple laps to go, and you ended up in the fence. But just walk us through your race from your perspective. It was a little bit different racing back there than the leaders were.
Yeah, it was going good. I was trying to run my strategy, trying to claw back some points and down a little bit in the standings, and it was going good. I didn't have the pace and a couple laps to go, and I was just in the zone and just got on the throttle a little hard, and that was
all right, well, certainly it was an exciting race here for Detroit round 2. So that completes round number 14 here in the Fuel IndyCar Series, Finian. We got a couple events coming up the next few weeks. But, guys, we want to thank you for joining us in the booth. And congrats again to Zach and Mitch for the Cordis 1-2. Again, it was a great race for both you guys.
Thank you.
And that'll be it for the interviews here tonight. And again, what a fantastic finish that was, Finian. I did not expect the intensity to rise that much in the closing laps of this one. But phenomenal finish again, and Buchanan and Welker take home the victories here in race 1 and race 2. And we'll head to more normal event next week, but Kentucky. So a little bit more of a 1.5 miler, a little bit totally different race next week. But it was certainly a great event here tonight. So that's what's coming up tomorrow night. Hardline action from Michigan Speedway. Saturday is Virtual Racing League from New Hampshire, and that's coming up. We got a couple of races from Watkins Glen next week. We got Monday night IndyCar action from 3-Wide, the 3-Wide Triple Crown. And then on Wednesday night, Virtual Mars Series action from Watkins Glen Boot. That'll be a 30-minute sprint race. That's what's coming up in the next couple days. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night with Hardline Sim Racing.